Oh boy, Sunday! Who's ready for some fascinating, riveting, train wreck, dumpster fire, NFC North action? Baby! It's the Detroit Lions taking on the Chicago Bears. One team at least somewhat understanding what the reality is, and the other one continuing to be disconnected from it. That's the summary right there, isn't it? Oh, God. Thankfully, for both of these organizations, there are only 5 games left this season. And this season, for both of them, cannot end soon enough. You take a look at the Detroit Lions, they are 4-7 with a long amount of time off, coming off of shitting the bed again on Thanksgiving against the Houston Texans. And that was really bad. Yet another really bad performance on Thanksgiving in their traditional slot for the Detroit Lions, having fans across the country and around the world asking why the hell do the Lions continue to get featured on primetime on Thanksgiving, or in national television, I should say, on Thanksgiving every single year. Like, why do we continue to do this to everybody? Why do we continue to do it? That's like putting the Bears in primetime without a legitimate offense. Why the hell does somebody continue to think this is a good idea? Just because this is a tradition doesn't mean that tradition needs to continue. You get what I'm saying? Because, God, that was really bad, and that was really embarrassing. But at least the ownership of the Detroit Lions understood that that's unacceptable, and they had finally seen enough. You know, Jim Caldwell and going 9-7 and having a couple playoff appearances wasn't good enough. So what the hell do you call what Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn had done the past 2+ seasons? Fired. That's what the hell you call it. They got fired, as they rightfully, richly deserved to be. They have been sent packing. Thankfully, Detroit Lions fans, this era is over. And you just got to ride out the string, the last 5 games, and look forward to the offseason. So now you've got offensive coordinator Darrell Bevell stepping in as the interim head coach. Going into this game on Sunday, you're at 4-7. I suppose in theory you could potentially sit there and tell yourselves, hey, you have a chance of getting into the playoff picture in the NFC, but I mean, for all intents and purposes, it's over, and you damn good and well know it. You won't have Kenny Golladay again this week with the hip injury. You won't have number 3 overall pick Jeff Okudah. Like, he's done big things anyways this year, but nonetheless, you won't have him this year, or this game. You go back to week 1 with the matchup between these two teams, and maybe the Lions will be hungry for a little bit of revenge, because that was certainly a choke job, a massive choke job in that 4th quarter in week 1. And even with all of that, if DeAndre Swift doesn't drop that pass from Stafford, the second to last play of the game, the Lions would have won in spite of the choke job. Instead of pulling a Patricia, in spite of all of that, they still would have won this game. And at least you could say for the Lions, on the positive note, their offense has at least scored 20-plus points in 10 out of 11 games this year. The one game they didn't, they got shut out by the Panthers. But at least their offense can sometimes put some damn points up on the board. And then you get to the Chicago Bears, who are 5-6. After that, exactly what I told you, it was fluke-ass 5-1 start. They have proceeded to do exactly what the hell I thought they were going to do, which is lose their last 5 games in a row. So this team that so many foolish fans and members of Bears Twitter and Bears media were talking about as a playoff team and a divisional threat, maybe, a top 2 or 3 seed in the playoffs. Now they're sitting there, lost their last 5 games. They're 5-6. They're outside looking in the NFC playoff picture. They have no hopes. They have no chances. Let's just get over it. Coming off of yet another embarrassing performance in prime time, big surprise. Again, the most fundamental question to ask is why the hell do these guys continue to get scheduled in primetime games? I don't care about size of fan base. I do not care about size of market, anything like that. Until they get a legitimate professional NFL offense, why in the hell do you subject the nation to their diarrhea multiple times a season? I don't get it. I don't get it. And especially scheduling them in prime time against the Packers. Like, how the hell do you think that's going to go? Not only another embarrassing performance in prime time but it's also against the Packers. And Aaron Rodgers, once again, clearly establishes he's our daddy. Does that really surprise anyone? Yeah, all the while, multiple embarrassing performances in prime time. The loss to the Rams on Monday night. The loss to the Vikings on Monday night. And then this game here against the Packers on Sunday night. And while on the one hand, the Lions suck and they're terrible, they can at least acknowledge their mistakes and their flaws and realize we cannot tolerate this. We will not accept this. Of course, because of the mediocrity of the McCaskey way, George McCaskey and Ted Phillips are certainly absolutely fine with this. And somehow Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy still have their effing jobs. Why? What possible purpose or reason could you have to justify this? There is none. There absolutely, positively is not any reason or justification that these two asshats still have their jobs. Like, as bad as you want to say the Detroit Lions are run as an organization, because they are, they clearly are. Like, they actually have a somewhat legitimate quarterback, and they consistently suck. That's a reflection of just how dumb that organization is. At least they acknowledge when they've screwed up with the general manager and the head coach, we're not going to continue to give them more time. We've seen enough. We've been embarrassed one time too many in Thanksgiving. The Bears! Do you need another embarrassing performance in prime time? Good Christ almighty. And then, just as a nice reminder of the embarrassment and stupidity of the mediocrity of the McCaskey way, here comes Mitchell Trubisky. He's starting again on Sunday. I'm sure that's going to go splendidly. Now, some of you Bears fans are going to be like, hey, he barely gets Detroit in the Bears. Shut up! Let it go! He is ass cheeks. Trubisky is a real thing. Get it through your thick skulls! And this offense has only scored 20 or more points in 6 out of 11 games. And several games you could talk to that, you know, they scored some of their points in garbage time when it didn't matter. Certainly that Sunday night game against the Packers, like, that was all garbage time offense. Like, their offense stinks. And oh, by the way, their defense stinks now too. Big surprise. And you've got Akeem Hicks on the injury report, Khalil Mack on the injury report, Allen Robinson, and many others. I'm on the offensive line on the injury report. It's going swimmingly well for the Chicago Bears. So you come into this matchup, for all intents and purposes, the loser of this game knows beyond a shadow of a doubt that their season is over. Whereas the winner maybe perhaps has some naive, foolish type of belief that they can still slide into the back door of the 7th spot in the NFC playoff picture. In terms of keys to victory for Detroit, they got to get all that taste of Matt Patricia out of their system, flush it, let it go. You know, if anything, come out determined to play well for Darrell Bevell and play well for themselves and kind of show a big F you to Matt Patricia and saying, you know, hey, screw you, we were better, you brought us down. In terms of defensively, double team Allen Robinson. Double team Allen Robinson, because that's typically going to be where Mitchell Trubisky looks first. Double team his primary read. He won't come off of it. He can't read a defense. His field vision is atrocious. His ability to read and recognize is non-existent. So just double team Allen Robinson and force him to come off of his primary read. And I promise you, Detroit, your defense will have some big things happen for them. And then offensively, attack the Bears secondary down the field in the passing game. Even if Akeem Hicks plays, he might be limited. But if he doesn't, especially, like, the Bears' defense isn't going to do anything. They just showed that against the Packers. Why the hell would it be any different against the Lions? Attack them down the field. Take some chances. Take some shots. Those big plays are there against Pagano's defense. I promise you that. Now, for Chicago, maybe you got to hope that Trubisky enjoys some of the previous magic that he's had the past couple of years against the Lions. Maybe you could think that. Maybe you also hope, you know, that Detroit will take an early lead. Because you're thinking, oh, well, Detroit gets out to like a 10-plus point lead. They'll stop playing hard. They'll stop playing well. And the Bears will sneak up in garbage time and get them. That's basically what happened in week 1. So, you know, the formula works. Why try to mix it up and change it, right? Something to say. I guess Akeem Hicks has got to play. Because for a team that's invested so much on the defensive side of the ball and has so many alleged stars, man, it is so strikingly noticeable just how bad that defense is when Akeem Hicks isn't in there. So clearly Akeem Hicks has to play for this defense to have any chance to play well and for this team to have any chance to win this damn game. And it really, truly is that simple. And above all of that, offensively, it's time to find a damn running game. Like, you're in the NFL. You got to be able to run the ball a little bit. Detroit is not good against the run. There should be some openings and opportunities there. It is time to be able to move the ball on the damn ground. And I can't wait to see how Matt Nagy, Bill Lazor, this Bears coaching staff does a poor job of scheming for the Bears running game and how the Bears offense does a horrible job of executing said lame-ass game plan. When it comes to this game on Sunday, who wins? Well, nobody that watches it, I'm sure. That'll be a given. This is just really bad football, I'm sure, that we're about to see, but it could have that train wreck intriguing element to it, but I doubt it. I'm picking the Lions here. The Lions got embarrassed on Thanksgiving. They've had a longer week to prepare for the Bears. The Lions have the vastly superior quarterback in Matthew Stafford. You know, when you look at it, if week one goes just a tad bit differently, which for all intents and purposes it really should have, we'd be talking about the Lions at 5-6 and the Bears at 4-7, which is probably a more accurate reflection of reality. What the Bears did on Sunday night in primetime, that was embarrassing, and that's more of an indication of a team that has lost its care, a head coach that has lost his locker room. So I'm going to take the Lions to win here 24-20 because I'm sure Trubisky and the offense will score some points in garbage time. But based off of what you've seen the past 5 weeks with the Bears, until proven otherwise, why in the bluest of blue fucks would anybody pick this team to win a game the rest of the year? Until proven otherwise. Why would you? Because ding dong, dumb dicks, this team is trash. The Lions are trash too. But their trash at least probably will smell a little bit better on Sunday.